roof for as little as $89 a month. Don't wait. Visit ArmorExteriors.com to schedule your free design consultation. Armor up with Armor Exteriors.
There are two Marks advertising their guaranteed offer in the Chattanooga area. But local Mark came to my home himself. I decided to list my home traditionally, and now it's under contract.
So if you're thinking about selling, don't make a mistake. Call Local Mark today.
Count on Local 3 News for more local stories.
Recently, we had a chance to talk with Chuck Martin of Chuck Martin Appraisals on the show, and we had so many questions for him, we had to have him back. So ta-da, here he is again. He does all things residential. So as we are talking this morning, whether residential for you looks like land, a conventional residential home, or you were telling me even like a quadplex if you have apartments or something.
Yeah, I can appraise up to 4 units, anything that's residential. Okay. So the majority of the market is residential stuff. Okay. I just don't do commercial appraisals.
So last time we kind of talked in some generalities. Go ahead.
Which that's by choice, by the way, the reason I don't do commercial appraisals.
Do you want to explain?
Yeah, well, commercial appraisals are very detailed. They take a month, a couple of months, and they have a lot of charts, and you need a different kind of license for that. You need a certified general license. Okay. But I've decided to specialize as a certified residential appraiser. So I specialize because of my expert testimony in court. I specialize in only residential homes, okay, which helps me quite a bit.
Okay, let's pause for 1 second, because last time you were here, you made a very good point, and that is that in a typical situation where you're buying or selling a house, and the time comes for the appraisal, you don't get to choose your appraiser. Because that used to be a nail biter. Oh, I hope we get a good appraiser. But you do some things for like divorce situations or something like that. That's the court testimony, right? Right.
And something that is good, would be good information for you if you have if you don't like an appraiser that's coming to your house, you can choose to ask for a different appraiser to come to your house, but you can't choose. You can't say I want this appraiser. Gotcha. Yes, you can hire me for divorce. A lot of times I am used in that capacity, which is kind of sad for me, but I'm glad that I get the opportunity to do that because I get to explain to the people I am not on one side or the other. I'm an unbiased third-party opinion, and I just want to make sure the judge knows that this is what their house is really worth, because I won't have any skin in the game.
So let's talk about then the value of a house for a minute, because hopefully we all love where we live and we think it's perfect. And you've recently done something to your kitchen, had this big kitchen remodel, and you think, well, gosh, I spent $50,000. I'm going to get that $50,000 back because everyone's going to love my kitchen. True or false?
Well, it's false immediately. But let me tell you this story, and you might find it amusing. I appraised a house years ago. A lady had spent about $50,000. She spent $45,000 remodeling her kitchen in pink. In pink. In pink, and I mean, it was beautiful if it was 1970, but it was not current with the market. You know, the market, everything is neutral now. Yeah. But she spent about $45,000 in her kitchen and made everything pink. The only thing that wasn't pink were the appliances. But would you pay $50,000 more for a pink kitchen?
Do you want me to be honest?
Absolutely.
I would want to knock $50,000 off the price of the house to have to take on a pink kitchen.
Because you're going to remodel it to suit your needs. And so that's what happens. A lot of people believe in their mind that because they spent the money on doing this, that everyone has their taste.
Now let me ask you this, to the personal taste over another. Chattanooga has lots of historic homes.
Yes, absolutely.
If you've got a bathroom with, I used to have a house with the 1940s tile, black and white tile in the bathroom. I didn't want to touch it because it was original. Is that a good idea or a bad idea?
Well, that actually has no impact on value at all. If you leave the house, if you update the fixtures, because the fixtures will be rust and you'll need to update the fixtures. But if you keep the pink and the blue, I appraise them all the time. I appraise those houses, and then there are some people that want to buy the home and they want to gut it. There are other people that want to buy the home and they want to keep it just like it is.
But if you have like a North Chattanooga 1920s bungalow, right, with the deep window sills and all of the leaded windows and all of it, it's not to your advantage to not undo those things?
Well, here's what you need to realize when it comes to an appraisal. What I'm going to do is, if that is your house, I'm going to find comparable homes that have similar amenities to your home and compare that to. So what you're asking is, should I change it to make it into a different home, but it's sitting in the same section where this is the majority of houses in this area? That's where we get back to, the area that you're in. Be very mindful of the area that you're in.
What about foreclosures? What happens if there's a foreclosure in your neighborhood?
If there's a foreclosure in your neighborhood, foreclosures are not what is considered an arm's length sale. An arm's length sale is where, say, you are a ready, willing, and able buyer, and I am a ready, willing, and able seller. You and I are not related in any way, and we agree on a price for a house, then that is an arm's length sale, and that is what I look for as comparables for other homes.
What about landscaping? Like when the tornadoes came through and we lost all those beautiful trees, did that hurt home values?
No, landscaping is considered cosmetic for the most part. And now, I've been appraising for 15 years, and I actually appraised a lady's house, and she was a horticulturalist, and she had $200,000 worth of landscaping in her backyard. Did it add $200,000? No, it didn't. But I was able to find an adjustment for her to get something for that landscaping.
What about pools? Are they a value or a deterrent?
Well, both and neither. My wife and I, when we bought our house 4 years ago, we put in a pool and a pavilion and a fenced yard, and the reason we did that was so our children would continue to come back and visit us. We spent about $45,000, $40,000 on that renovation. And I actually, my wife said, so I guess we just upped the value of our house, $40,000. And I said, no, not really. We upped the value about maybe $10,000. But remember, the typical buyer, there's a theory called the theory of substitution. And that's where the typical buyer wants a deal, basically. That's concise. So they are not going to pay you what you paid for an amenity, especially because you may have put the pool in 4 years ago or 5 years ago, so it has some deferred maintenance on it. It's going to need the sand in the pump changed, and it's going to need some updating. You maybe a new pool liner, things like that. So they're not going to give you what you paid for it. But on the flip side of it, your house will increase quicker the more amenities that you have.
Okay,
so
that makes sense.
So you're upping your quality of your home when you do those things.
I bet you are never without conversation at a dinner party, Chuck Martin.
I am not.
I bet people always want to pick your brain. So here's the wonderful thing too. He's always traveling. So there's no reason really to give you a website or an office address or anything, because his car is kind of, your house is his office. But if you text him 423-503-5315,
that's it.
You can't call him because sometimes he's with no good cell service.
Right.
Shoot him a text, give him a couple of days, and he'll get back to you.
That sounds perfect.
Thanks for the education.
Thank you.
And you're not far from me. Perhaps I'll come swim in your pool.
Oh, come on.
We're back after this.
West Yellowknife Trading Post has everything under the sun. 36 by 60 inch windows with or without grids, $149. All other sizes starting as low as $99. Don't pay big box prices.